Sarah, do you mind giving me your address?
I do. I looked it up online, and it's not required in the
Do you have it?
Not on me.
Okay, we just need to fill it in. Good. Okay, Williamson County Travis Municipal Utility District number 1. It is now 5:31. This notice is that we are starting, it's Wednesday, July 16th. And again, 5:31. Roll call for the Board of Directors. Carol?
Carol Laurel.
Hanoi Vila.
Beth Jones?
Chris Rocco.
David Flores.
Thank you. Okay, can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Ready. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And a moment of silence, please. Okay, let's start with public comments. First one is Tina Flores, resident.
Glaringly absent from tonight's agenda is an update on the lawsuit spearheaded by Hanoi, Beth, Chris, and Carol. You'll recall at the May meeting, Hanoi motion to bring his vengeance lawsuit against 3 members of the public. Then outside of a public meeting, someone quietly added David to the mix. The first hearing was held on July 10th, where the judge flatly denied the MUD's request to restrain us into silence. The court transcript has been ordered and will be published onto education.org as soon as it's in hand. The sport's reckless actions aren't just embarrassing, they're dangerous. You've weaponized public resources to settle personal scores, and now the taxpayers are footing the bill for your vendetta. The judge's denial should have been your wake-up call, but instead you keep doubling down. The community is watching, the cameras are rolling, and every decision you make writes the next chapter in your legacy. Visit education.org. The truth is coming out whether you like it or not.
Sarah Teal, non-resident.
Was it on? Could we have Tina read it again because it wasn't recorded? The microphone was off.
We don't have to record our meetings, so no.
I'm just asking for transparency's sake.
That's great, but we have a lot to cover tonight, but next time, hopefully she'll do it.
No, thank you, Madam President.
Almost 4 months ago, at the end of March, the company the district hired to review the safety of its playgrounds on a regular basis, Park Protect, created a report showing a wide-ranging need for park maintenance. This report was uncovered through an open records request and is now published on the public information page at MUDeducation at MUDeducation.org. This document does not appear to be published on the official MUD website. Park Protect lists hazards rated from 1 to 5. 1 indicates the safety concern may result in permanent disability, loss of life, or a body part. The condition should be corrected immediately. Upon inspection, Park Protect discovered 9 level 1 concerns and an additional 6 level 2 concerns that could result in temporary disabilities if not addressed as soon as possible. What I am wondering is how the Parks Committee of Hanoi Avila and Beth Jones could have let these serious safety concerns for the most vulnerable residents in the neighborhood, children, go unaddressed for so long. I'm also wondering how much longer the concerns would have been left to founder if the report itself had not been discovered and publicly disseminated through MUDeducation.org. I do see that a discussion of needed repairs is on the agenda tonight. I am hoping that rectifying the playground deficiencies receives as much attention as suppressing First Amendment rights and encroaching on property rights does. If the MUD Board can't find the time to properly and safely maintain the playgrounds that it puts into service, My suggestion would be to decommission them and return the spaces to natural areas. Research continues to support the idea that free, unstructured nature play is actually more beneficial to young humans than adult prescribed playgrounds anyway. Additionally, returning underused playgrounds to nature space is what the plurality of neighbors actually voted for when they completed the comprehensive community survey in 2019. Thank you.
Linda Funk, resident.
Carol Norrell never misses her monthly ritual of calling out the names and numbers of public information requests, mine included, as if it's some sort of indictment or as if there's any value in the exercise. Here's the reality. Since Sage Management was rehired in 2025, I've requested every single month to see the material they are contractually obligated to produce in order to be paid. The terms of their contract are not ambiguous. A tour consists of equally documenting all deed restriction violations, photos, reports, the whole package. For 3 months now in a row, Sage and the Deeds Committee of Beth Jones and Chris Rocco have denied the existence of any records or photographs. In June, Beth Jones even claimed the reports are preliminary and a work in progress. But the district's attorney has made it clear, preliminary or not, you cannot withhold public records. Beth ignored that legal advice and unilaterally decided the district will defy the Public Information Act. Then, in a recent email, Sage's Jimmy Sagnis admitted outright, Sage will continue to follow directives put forth by the committee. Those directives include instructions to withhold records, not just from me, but from the district's own attorney. Now we come to Chris Rocco and Carol Norrell. Month after month, as part of the Bills and Invoices Committee, they recommend paying Sage's deceptive invoices for PIR work, even though Sage hasn't turned over a single record. Let's call it what it is. Chris and Carol are no longer bystanders. They are complicit in the grift. This is not government, it's malfeasance, and it's happening on your watch. Visit muducation.org for links to the records, the emails, and the admission of guilt.
Tom.
Hello, I'm Tom Morrow. Took my first I'm addressing this board, so I'm happy to be here. I recently watched 4 whole years of videos of these board meetings. I've seen how deeply every board member cares about this district. I was, however, shocked at how often the board calls for constables to remove people even when they're cooperating. Please comply with your own rules on this. Simply say, I order you to leave now, rather than constable walk this person out. Minus the public. Please cooperate. I don't think the board is willfully refusing to follow the rules. I just don't think the board has enough engagement with them. The rules are way out of date. The last update was before most of the current board members were elected. So I'm calling for a rule cleanup to foster stronger support and acceptance of the rules, leading to a sense of ownership. I did some groundwork for you, identifying a dozen or so cases where the rules match your actual practices. I have your motion for Cole to update the rules using his excellent judgment. I appreciate that, Brigadier.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment. I think that's a good idea. And I'm going to pursue that because we have not done any analysis or updating or even looking at it in quite some time. I think it would be something that we should do. So I'll have more on that later. I'll make a proposal.
Analysis or updating or even looking at it in quite some time, I think it would be something that we should do. I'll have more on that. I'll make a proposal.
Oh, good. Okay. Minutes of June 18th, 2025.
Well, that should be another consent agenda.
And the bookkeeper's report.
I guess I would, the minutes are acceptable, but I do have a comment in that Ms. Bob's statements last week, where she alleged that Director Jones and Norrell recently had made a decision here. These are non-facts. These are non-facts, and I wish to make that statement, whether it's added at the end or an addendum or something, but they are non-facts.
Okay. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve these?
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent items, the bookkeeping report, and the minutes from the last meeting,
June 18th,
June 18th,
2025.
2025.
Okay, can I get a second?
For suggested changes, right? With you, with your
Yes,
comment?
yes, I want my suggestion. Someone else make the second, since I made that statement.
I'll second it as long as it includes what she's just
Cole,
mentioned.
did you get that?
I did.
Okay. All in favor or any discussion?
I've had a question about bills, if we want to discuss that.
Okay.
Ms. Bob mentioned the open records request bill that Sage Management has billed us for. It was 3 or 4 hours, and I would ask that in the future, all the work products should be given to the deed restriction committee. So I don't believe that there should be any charges for open records. If the board members receive all the information, when we receive an open records request, the board member should hand it over. We shouldn't need to ask Sage to produce the work. If they're already producing the work, we're giving it to the board. So, I would suggest that we just keep Sage out of the open records, because you should have all the records already. And we should save ourselves the money.
But if we don't have the records,
But why wouldn't we have the records?
they just hadn't given to us yet.
Their job is to hand over the records to the committee and to the board.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying
So-
that they were drafted at the time, and we just had not received them yet.
So if there's no work, supposedly there's no work produced.
No, I didn't say that. I said it was draft.
Okay. So why would it take 4 hours to respond that they're in draft? That's my concern, is that
Talking about?
it's 4 hours of work.
I apologize.
For a draft.
You're saying 4 hours of work by who?
Sage.
Sage.
Okay.
So they have 4 hours of work billed for open records. If everything's in draft, it takes 2 seconds to say, it's in draft, boom, not 4 hours. So that's my concern, is why they're billing us 4
Well,
hours.
on this particular one, our attorney advised us to go ahead and provide it regardless that it was on draft. So we didn't have to go into the Attorney General and asking for an opinion. We just told them to provide it.
And did they provide?
Did they provide it?
I have not seen anything.
Okay.
I have not received
Okay.
4 hours of billing, if there's no work produced, it's like, did they do their job?
You need to add the word yet.
Okay, then when they produce it, then they can bill it, but if they haven't produced
Okay.
anything, they shouldn't bill it.
I don't know,
It's
they're on the
like-
cash accrual basis, that they did work, they billed us, I mean,
And you're okay just,
Well, David, may I ask you, David, you're asking us to go back and look again at the billing that Sage made for 3 or 4 hours of work. Is that-
open records request work. Where's the work product for that work? If they're billing us, they obviously had some work product to produce.
I would suggest, I would make this suggestion, I would suggest that we don't do pay the bills, but let's pull that one, let's pull that one.
Well, the reason why is we meet with the lawyer, we have to get that approved tonight, so they've already done the work.
Okay,
But you guys, we had to put it on hold because we didn't have the paperwork, okay? So
Okay.
tonight, we'll have that will be
Okay.
done,
all right.
and then things will get moving.
It has nothing to do with what she's saying.
Okay, but
No, it is, they've done the work.
Okay, but I guess what I'm saying is, when we made the decision, when Chris and I reviewed this with the bookkeeper, I thought we had everything in place, and so we do, David, go through absolutely, in fact, there were a couple of other things that we pulled aside, and we did a little bit more looking and asking and so forth. I think the committee's done a pretty good job.
Well-
And so that's when you would like us to go back and review again, is that what you're
It's-
asking?
Where is the
You know
work
everything.
product for that billing? You do a job, you produce the
Madam
work.
President,
you
a point
send
of
the bill.
order, aren't we, this supposed to be a consent agenda and move
It
forward?
is.
Yeah, it is.
Why
It
are we
is a
discussing
consent.
this?
Because
Okay,
she
so
asked
let's move-
discussion.
Point of order, can we move on?
We can move on.
We are
Thank
discussing
you.
things outside of order.
So we need to either pay our bills or we don't pay our bills.
Can we vote?
So-
There's a motion on the table, there's no need for discussion, can we vote on this?
Let's make a full vote. All in favor of paying our bills?
Well, I will at this point.
Thank you, Madam President.
I will.
Okay, deed restriction committee, including. I guess maybe didn't have one. So in front of you, you guys should have
Do you have an extra copy,
the
Beth?
Fowler Law Firm. You can look at mine, or he can look at his. Here. And so what we have here is we've got our paperwork from the Fowler Law Firm. It's $350 an hour, 300 to 450 per hour for senior attorney's time, 195 to 275 per hour for associate attorney's time, 45 to 195 per hour for certified paralegal. So we need to make an agreement that Deeds has a lawyer moving forward. This will not be Cole, this will be a separate attorney. And so if anybody want to make a motion?
well,
You
before we
should.
go on, Cole, you thought this was a good idea to have a specialist, somebody that would be doing this, so you can concentrate on everything else?
I said I'm perfectly okay with you.
Thank you very
hiring
much. Okay, let's
separate
move on.
Yes.
attorneys.
Okay, can you make the motion?
I make a motion that we agree to the legal services agreement presented here by Fowler Law Firm.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Okay. Discussion,
Yes.
go for it.
Cole, you said that you're okay with another attorney doing the deeds, but you're also okay with actually doing the work yourself? You would be okay with doing it?
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, I would be okay
Either way?
doing it.
Well-
Either way,
Okay.
either way, it's up
So,
to the
it's up to the
board.
board, right, but
Yeah,
I'm asking you, you're okay with doing it? If we gave that job to you, you would be okay and be able to?
if you all did not want to go with it, someone who specializes in deed enforcement, then I could do it.
Okay,
But I'll say the rate that you're getting from this attorney is lower than what my billable rate is, what we would charge. And their specialty is deed enforcement and HOA type issues, which is really what this falls under.
okay,
So,
thank you for that clarification. Let's see, who's the, Chris, how did we find this law firm? Was it recommended by anybody? Because it was,
Who's recommended?
Okay.
can I ask who recommended the law firm?
Actually, other districts.
Other districts? Perfect. What other districts, so this way I can kind of see what work product he's doing with other districts?
David, I'm not gonna rat on somebody. That's not what we do.
It's.
There's other districts
know.
that use him,
Can-
then
can I
they have
know
had
the
a
districts?
really good, they've had good experience with him. He's done really good work for them. It's something that Cole has said that this is not his forte.
Okay.
So-
So, yeah, I just would like to know, so this way I can go to those districts and see how he bills them and kind of do research and make sure that the work is the same as we're getting here. But if you don't want to disclose that, Madam President, that is completely.
David, you know exactly where he comes from.
Madam President, didn't we agree that this was a matter
Point
of
of
the
order.
committee to decide?
Yes, it was.
Point of order,
Well, we,
still
move
on
on.
time. Benoit,
Hey.
please don't interrupt, please. Benoit,
David,
please, Benoit.
David.
please
I don't want to
interrupt.
engage in this conversation,
David.
so
Jump in.
I'm all
but
good.
you
So-
also are talking about things that are not on this right now.
I'm asking questions about this law firm. I'm asking questions about it because we're going to engage in a contract.
Yes,
And
we
I have
are.
every right to know and ask questions on work that they
You know
use
this
and other-
person. You
I
know
don't know
him.
this person. Why would I be asking if I didn't know this person? I don't know this person. So please do not speak for what I know and what I don't know. I don't know this person, and I would like to know what other districts, so I can go and check work that they do for other districts to see the quality of work. But if you, Madam President, do not want to disclose that to me, you have, that's your right not to, but I think the public deserves to know information. They ask questions, they should be answered by your elected officials. That's why I sit here, to ask questions, so it can be answered by you and everybody else on the board, so the public can know. It needs to be transparent. You ran on transparency, Madam President, I hold you
I
to
do.
that. So
But you know
please
what?
disclose
This
that
other
name.
firm
Disclose
has-
that
no.
name.
This other district did not give me the permission to do that, and I will respect them.
Okay, thank you. I yield my time, thank you.
Would you like to say anything, or
No, thank
Carol?
you for all your research. I think the law firm, it's a good, reputable law firm in the city of
rate.
Austin that have practiced
Very
law
good
for
rate.
many, many, many years. I think 2 generations. I've done the research myself. The contract was uploaded and the information was available to all of this board members, so thank you. I believe you are doing this in a very transparent manner, so I'm not going to
I
argue
am,
the
and
integrity
I'm
and
not
the
going to
question
lose
of
integrity
the
of some,
committee
a
that
different
we've
district.
collectively decided to elect.
Chris, do you have?
That's all I
anything?
have.
Sure don't.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
It's already been seconded by Hanoi.
Okay, all in favor? Yeah, okay. Next on the agenda, engineers report.
All right.
Thank you.
The first item on our report has to do with your community televising project. They've been underway, I'm sure y'all have seen them in the neighborhood. As of July 11th, they had completed about 67,000 feet of televising. And I was actually on the call with the contractor today to talk about another job, and he said that they are done. So they've submitted to us a ton of videos. Grant and team have been reviewing them ad nauseum. We'll find there since
Yeah.
it's sewer
So,
video.
fine, we got it.
So we're working through that and putting together
Can we get that
a
back?
list of any issues or defects that we would recommend rehabilitating. So I'm hoping
It's
to
on
have
that.
something
Yeah,
to all
ready,
in
ready
next
for-
month,
Sorry.
next meeting, or after that, a list of what needs to be rehabilitated. Just a lot of videos to go through. So they're on track to have that project completed in time. The date of completion is September 24th, so we're tracking well there. The next item is in regards to the lead and copper rule revisions. We drafted a letter to notify the residents of Andersonville sections 5 and 6, where we identified that the service line was not lead. We did not, unfortunately, have an instructor committee meeting this month, so I didn't get to get feedback from the committee members, so that attachment, that draft letter is attached here. If I could get any feedback on the letter, I would love to be able to send that out to those residents and update your TCQ database.
Cole, is that something that, since it's part of the engineer report, we can make a motion to accept that letter?
Under the engineer's report, yes.
I move that we accept the letter from the engineer to send to our residents in section 5 and 6.
I'll second that. Discussion.
We have any discussion?
Great letter.
Agree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Westwood always does great work. Very happy.
Okay. And all in favor? No one else want to talk about it? Great, fantastic.
Thank you. We'll get that updated.
Yeah, we did.
Thank you.
I think we did.
Next item is the lift station rehab project for the Gama and Sun Chase. We're underway on design of that. Grant and I actually sat down and kind of looked at one of his first sets of the plans, so we should have a set to bring to the next infrastructure committee meeting and discuss it with Mark to ensure everybody's in agreement with all the scope. So that's underway. Our sidewalk resolution, thinking any action has happened there. It got brought up at the May meeting. We should have left it on in case y'all wanted to talk about it any further or not. And then the El Salito sidewalk, that sidewalk is finally looking better. The corners got cut by CRC. They did that at no cost. And Mark got the landscape crew out there and sawed it. So the pictures that Daryl sent me looked good.
We got the rain we needed to help the grass grow.
Turns out we had
It's amazing.
It looks great, it does look great.
For a July job.
You know, sometimes you just gotta roll the dice.
Yeah, that's right. I agree.
I'm very glad it's done before school starts, so thank you.
And, excuse me, Jacob, I just want to tell you, I had a little misunderstanding with Grant about the time of the infrastructure meeting. I don't know if we ever got back to you about it. My understanding was at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I don't know what happened, but anyway, I went over everything probably an hour and a half after y'all got done with Daryl, and we reviewed everything that y'all reviewed, so.
Good. Good. Well, we'll try to make sure that we connect for the next scheduled one.
Yes, we will. But the next one I think is important because we're going to be talking budget items for 25, 26.
Yes, sir. Which is, I think I sent out kind of a facility assessment that was finalized last fall. Just want to make sure everybody had a copy of that. I don't think we need to go through and update your CIP for this year, right? I think a lot of the things, the initial priorities are underway. And so we can kind of talk about what projects should be earmarked for next year. And then probably next fall, we might want to go in and spend a little time updating.
I would like to formally, though, accept it and say there are no changes that need to be made from the previous year's CIP.
Okay.
You know, we didn't have any emergency items that came up because it is something that should be done annually, and it won't be hard to review it.
I think we can put that on our agenda, and when you guys go into formalize adopt your budget.
Yes, I'd like to do that because you don't see any changes right now, do you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The only thing though, depending on the outcome of the televising video, if there's some significant repairs
I
that
can imagine.
need to be prioritized, that might jump.
And I know you don't have a final thing, but they haven't found anything significant like huge bends in the lines and things like that you know of,
I'm
right?
gonna be honest, I have not watched a single minute of video yet.
Okay. I visited with one of them, and I don't know, he may not have known, but they said they were happy so far.
I was on a trip in Buenos Aires with my family, and I asked my wife if I could stop and watch videos. But
Okay.
Grant, as they get finished up, we'll sit down. And,
Yeah, it's really not important until it's over.
I love it.
and then kind of the Lakeline Oaks CMU wall, we're scheduled to go back out there on August 4th to take another measurement, quarterly measurement, to see if anything's changing there. And I don't know if you have an update on DR working for those tracks of land.
We're still waiting on the deeds from DR Horton. It was a priority until it wasn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've done that before, and it takes forever.
Yeah.
And then the last item, which I'll definitely let Mark chime in on mostly, is the status of the cash flow station pump replacement. Sounds like you're waiting on the seals to come in to repair those, so that's correct. That's all I have.
Great, thank you.
Okay, general manager's report.
What about new business?
We have none.
Okay,
Skipping it.
okay.
General manager.
All right. We recently did a streetlight kind of survey going out throughout the district. That was done on the 13th. There were 2 streetlights that were reported to PEC that they needed to be repaired. You know, the lights were out. Water accountability for June was 94%. I believe up a little bit from last month, which is a good sign. Delinquent letters, there were 140 mailed, 77 tags hung and 18 disconnects this past billing kind of cycle. There are no kind of really notable resident requests that came to our attention. A couple of them did reach out to us and other board members about the Little Elm street light that was hit, I think a week or so ago.
What hit? It was knocked down.
Well, it was broken about 2-3 foot off the ground, so I don't know what hit it.
What was it? Rusted, broken, or no?
No.
Somebody
hit it.
Car hit it. Yeah.
We're contacting the Cedar Park Police to find out if there was a report filed. If so, obviously that would possibly be an insurance claim, but we're still investigating that.
It would be the sheriff's office, correct? Because we're outside city.
No, that's Cedar Park's purvey. Is that a Little Elm? Yeah, they take control of that.
If we don't find a report with the city,
Yeah,
we
check
can definitely
Wilco,
the sheriff
because
as well.
our district is outside city limits.
Previous work that we're doing in the district, the resurfacing of the tennis courts and the restriping, that's still yet to be scheduled with the Cortex. The additional camera for the parking lot, that was completed on the 10th by Oracle. Installing the deed restriction signs, the larger signs, the 2 at Andersonville West have been completed. Actually didn't look this evening, but I don't think they ran out of time. They ran out of daylight the day that he was out here. So the 3rd one will be installed outside the building here. So that's still in progress. We had a precision meter out actually today. They were going through to calibrate the large meters here in the district. It come to find out some of their testing equipment on the small 1.5-inch meters that are in just a regular meter box, they're not able to get their testing equipment and everything inside the meter box. So those would have to be removed and taken back to their facility to be calibrated. So for right now, we told them to hold off on those, but they were going to do the testing on the larger meters that are down in the vaults where they can get their testing equipment in there, I believe later today. I'm not sure. I didn't speak with the gentleman to see if they completed that this evening. The next thing, we got the cleaning of the lift station number 2. That was completed on the 25th of last month. And then the CMU wall cleaning. The gentleman that was hired for that, he had a death in the family, plus with the recent rain, he hasn't been able to begin on that, but that'll get scheduled here shortly. The graffiti removal, that was completed on the 14th by Time Machine. And then we have several items that were asked of us to kind of put numbers behind. The first one, rather large one, is if the district wants to upgrade the rest of the district all to the E-Series digital meters, that number came out to $932,619.25. Earlier, it was maybe suggested that maybe we break that up into smaller projects, just to be a little bit more budget friendly for the district. I don't know if y'all want to discuss that
We do.
now, or if you want me to continue.
Let's go ahead and work on that one because we need to get these done. You want to go first?
Yeah, I just
You got the
remember
total is 932.
When we first started talking about meters, years ago, back when Severn Trent was running things, one of my big concerns was, they said, oh, we're going to save so much money with these things, we won't have to go out and do meter readings, and I think there was even some attempt to show how much money we were going to save by doing this. And my big response was, that's with today's technology. What happens if we spend all this money on these meters, and they come up with a new technology that you can wear these glasses and you can do this thing on the internet. You can see your bill that way, and things change so fast. We spend that much money on this thing. You know, I still don't remember if we even got the report showing us how much money we were going to save by having these meters. Now, I realize that, you know, we've made some sort of commitment, but that doesn't mean we have to.
Well, we've done a partial of them.
Right. And have we done an analysis of how they're working and we see how wonderful they are?
Getting good feedback.
Well, I would just like to see something a little bit formal, so if I had to explain to a taxpayer why we're spending $900,000 on meters, that I could have something that shows them why.
One, they get to watch how much water they use so they can stop.
Well,
Right. Well, and
That's
I
the
think-
biggest, that's why we did it.
technology is just, it just moves so fast. It's so difficult, you know, to make that kind of commitment. And, you know, I don't know, I'm not an engineer, how we can change this, but I mean, Jake, what do you think? I mean, is it true? Could we have new technology that makes what we've got now obsolete and somebody else going to be down here at a meeting trying to sell us something else?
Well, there's probably always going to be someone that comes down to your meeting and tries to sell you something. I think the underlying question, are electronic meters a cost benefit to districts? It can get argued either way. I think it comes down to, you know, how much time your operators actually spend walking and charging for reading meters. I think there's more of a benefit to your resident to have
I understand that.
access to that data.
And if somebody has a leak, it's going to tell them.
Okay, but that's the kind of thing I would like to document. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to put a value on that, but for example, you can stop something, you're on vacation, and you're gone for 3 weeks, and you got something running, a leak running, that if your meter told you that you could get someone to turn it off, yeah, it could save you a bunch of money.
Yeah,
Well, it has
I've seen
saved
it
people
argued
money.
many different ways, right? I think the general consensus is folks are moving towards electronic meters. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I think generally they're going to be more accurate.
How's your so old?
The Badger meters, those are, they're not positive displacement, right? They're
No,
electronic.
no.
So they don't have any moving parts.
I understand that.
So as far as losing accuracy over time, that's valuable, whereas your meters now, the more they're in the ground, the less accurate they are. So
I do have people ask me when they're going to get their new meter. That's the question that I do have for you, Elizabeth. Can you tell me how many we've put in so far?
I'm pulling it up now.
So Chris, I agree with you. I think that there needs to be solid evidence so you can go to the residents and say, this is why we did it. I think
That's
it's
true of
very-
anything.
A very good idea. You know, I also, it's been brought up in the past, you know, how much money is it gonna save us if Infomark doesn't have to walk? Is it gonna reduce our contract obligation? Are we gonna get a savings there? That's where we would get the savings. If they don't have to walk, it's just done electronically, our contract with Infomark should be reduced because we don't have those bodies walking. So I think that's another, something that we would have to think about is if we go ahead and do all these meter readings, is Infomark willing to lower their price because they don't have to go out there and check every single meter? So just some food for thought.
So, to your point, it becomes where that burden of reading the meters then goes to customer service. Because then customers are calling in, how do I set up my Ion Water account? I just received this alert, what does it mean? So the burden shifts from one department to another. Do any of the directors have the smart meters and have you signed up for your Ion Water account? If not, I would highly suggest that you do that because that's going to give you the information I think Chris is looking for, where you can see exactly what your consumption is. You can, and we can definitely provide, this is, I didn't know that you didn't have this information, but we can definitely provide data to you because your positive displacement meters, you're going to be replacing probably 2 times for every 1 smart meter that you're going to install. And the smart meter has a 20-year warranty on it, 10-year full, and then the second 10-year is prorated. Whereas your PD meters, once they get to 1 million gallons, they start slowing down. 1.5 million, you start losing because there's internal components
I understand, but how many years does it take to get 1 million gallons?
It depends on people who, if they irrigate frequently or if they have a pool, I mean.
Well, my neighbor, she's dying for hers because she's got a pool.
Okay.
I mean, it really depends. I mean, probably in the Austin area, I would say, depending on where you live and what water restrictions you're under, it may take a little bit longer for you to get to 1 million gallons. But part of what we check when we go to replace meters is we look at the meters over 1 million and then the zero usage ones, and that's what prompts us to go replace them.
That's right.
So does Infomark have the ability to look at any meter, to go and see if it's being used excessively? Because we're on a stage 3 water restriction. So, this is where we actually have authority to do something about is water, and yet we do nothing to, there's so many green lawns around here.
So for the 600 meters that have smart meters, yes, we can. And we can set up parameters of like who are frequent flyers as far as high usage. And on the dashboard, it'll show us, from week to week, are they, and then you can also
And what time?
And you can look this schedule. I can show you after, like you can click on the graph and you can see what time the consumption occurred.
Because that consumption at 2, 3 in the morning, I think it's going to be most likely sprinklers and not
Right, I
showers.
mean, unless you're just, partying.
Hey,
and-
some people,
Okay.
some people.
So has everybody spoken that wants to, sorry,
So-
go ahead.
We're in the middle of the conversation.
So, but yeah, if you're interested, I can set up time for y'all to look at the iron water. And one of the things, and because you didn't have the Badger agreement signed until now, we haven't really pushed a whole lot of information out to all of these users, because then it's gonna create the scuttle, well, oh, I've got the smart meter, now I can, see my consumption, and then there's gonna be 1,300 plus other people going, we didn't do that.
Mhm.
So until y'all have made a decision, we're not gonna poke that bear.
Okay,
Also,
Go ahead.
so, yeah, it sounds like it's still gonna cost us the same bodies to measure, so $1 million and we don't get a discount, or we don't, it's still the same monitoring. It's a lot of money for, but also, I think we need to discuss opting out. I think residents, there's a lot of people that don't like to be watched with, a microscope and would possibly want to be opted out of having an electric meter. I know I met some constituents that don't want electric meters for the radiation they give off or something, the signal that they give. It's, that's how they feel and that's what they want. I'm here to listen. But I think we need to have an option to opt out of this program.
The only thing is, the meter's not theirs, it's the district's.
Right, so,
correct.
so I'm just saying that some people don't want those meters, so, as constituents, their voice matters, so, just wanted to put that out there.
One more item, and I don't want to belabor this, is maybe something we talk about later. Do we have any kind of formal agreement with the city of Cedar Park about how we will enforce compliance with the various levels of water restrictions?
Are you talking about drought contingency?
Yeah, like what David's talking about. Do we?
You have a drought contingency plan.
Okay, but does the city have in there saying, you, the district, will do such and such to ensure that, do they ask us to take actions to see if people are, or are we just waiting for a neighbor to call in and report their neighbor?
So realistically, without having the visibility, we become the water police and we would have to check meter by meter. And we wouldn't be able to do that. But you do have directives from City of Cedar Park as far as the signage that you have to put out play at.
Okay, so there is
Yes,
things, and we
yes.
are doing that?
Yes.
Okay, so they don't have anything that says we need to take a sample of residents' watering habits to see?
No.
Okay.
Now, when you get to like a stage 4, stage 5, any of those where it's like dire, like.
But we're not there yet.
But once we get there, that's really when we do become the water police, and because we don't have the visibility for smart meters, then that's where we have to sometimes employ having the field tech driving around at odd hours.
There's another valid point for having an electric meter, is because it's very inconsistent with the amount of rain that we get and how far we're going to be drought in the future.
And I think a resident knowing that there's an electric meter that
we're
sees
able to
it,
see will
it
determine.
might help on the compliance.
It justifies.
I've got a couple of
Okay.
neighbors that have really green grass and it bugs me.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this all back.
Okay.
So I would like to have someone make a motion that we move forward. This is something that we have been working on, it's something that we have been installing. There's other people that still want it. If people don't want it, we can talk about that later. But I would like to somehow continue this to get this going so that we can get this project done. We've been working on this project for a couple years. We keep stopping,
5, 6,
keep
7.
starting, keep stopping, keep starting. I would like to make a suggestion that we put in 100 meters a month. Can you do that? Yeah, that's what I thought.
What's,
We still have a long way to
I
go.
think you have to put it on paper, show us exactly what you're doing, how much it's gonna cost. All that has to be put out in front of us to see.
Do I do that for next
And
time?
we will, we're
Yeah,
working
okay.
on the budget, and that, and I was gonna say that to you also. It's a great idea. We'll see if we got the money to do it.
We've already started it, is the problem. This
I
project has
understand,
started.
I
We need to
understand.
finish it.
I think that
So-
we could bite the bullet and say, let's do this and get it done, like Beth said, we've been doing it for 5, 7, whatever
Well, we
years it's
keep
been.
pausing it.
And, but we have to sacrifice something else. What are we gonna sacrifice? Are we gonna not go after people in lawsuits? Are we not gonna go after, residents with deed restrictions? We're gonna have to pull the money from somewhere to get this. This is something I'm totally for because it affects every single person in the district. I like decisions that affect everybody equally and fairly, and this does that. So if we can pull some money from other things that don't affect every single resident in this district, I'm okay with spending $1 million, and this is a good thing
I'm
that
not saying-
everybody benefits from. And interrupting again, please, it really bothers me when you do that.
Well, you interrupted me first.
Please.
Go, keep going.
Thank you, I do mind.
Thank you. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
Especially when other people take most of the time. I do want to, I make a suggestion that we move forward on our agenda and allow this for the infrastructure committee to talk to our engineer to see a good plan that will keep us moving, right? And then we're going to look into budget and do it realistically.
Are you good with that, engineering?
Whatever you'll need.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I think,
Do we need a motion to do that, Cole?
No, you're not taking any action. You're
let's just bring it into
putting your
infrastructure and make it part of our capital improvement plan.
Yes.
And do it in a way that, and then we can bring it back to the board.
Okay.
So I'm
Can
done
you
with
bring it back next month?
I agree.
We'll bring it back every
bring
month,
it
see
back
where we are.
Okay.
Okay.
And let me just make one comment again, I don't want to stay on it, but something that you all can do, you might start running into some larger capital projects. I'm not suggesting selling bonds by any means, especially if you have the money to pay for stuff out of your operating, that's the whole point. But with projects like this, the board can adopt something called a resolution reserving the right to reimburse. Those are good for typically 3 years, and then sometimes districts do renew after 3 years. But what that does is it essentially states that, if a district is taking on a project that's very costly and you're paying out of your operating account, you're reserving the right in the future to issue bonds to pay your operating account back should the district find itself in the position to do it. It's just a way, it's kind of, I have a district that just did smart meters and another interconnect project, and they did their smart meters probably 2 years prior to when they sold bonds, but they reserved the right to reimburse themselves for that if they want to. Again, it doesn't.
Cost us
Excuse me?
It doesn't cost us
It does, well, I mean, it costs 30 minutes of my time to draft a resolution, but it doesn't mandate that the district ever sell bonds. You're just reserving the right, that's all you're doing. You never have to sell them if you don't want to. So that's just another thing to think about with the infrastructure committee and your budget committee, to kind of think about those large scale projects and if you want to add them to a resolution.
Go for it.
Especially as we're heading into budget time, I was listening to the previous meetings. What happened, what came about with the financial advisor conversation?
They hired.
Okay. So I think it would make sense to sit down with your financial advisor with our CIP, and especially as we start to get a feel for what sewer rehab work you might need. I know water accountability has been a question mark. If that continues to stay low, we might need to look at doing some water main replacement, all of which are projects that are large enough scale that you wouldn't want to pay with operating funds. Long-term asset improvements should be paid for, in my opinion, of course, with long-term money. And so I think if we're working with your FA to look at your 5-year CIP and kind of larger expenses like this, and we're talking about possibly reimbursing yourself later via a bond, I think having all those things being discussed at the same time makes sense. This year, you had $100,000 budgeted for meter replacement. So
Yes. That's what I'm trying to, the money's there, we've already budgeted for it, we haven't done it, we need to keep going.
And I'm saying that we've had other things that were not budgeted that we ended up spending $100,000 on. So just don't forget that also.
Let's bring it back next month.
Thank you for that information.
So let's
Very useful,
defer
and I
it
think
till
it's
next
good
month. And then Jacob, if you want to help with that, that would be
Why
awesome.
is reserving the right to do that? Why is that necessary?
It's not necessary at all. It's just some districts do it.
Why do they do it? I'm trying to.
They do it because if you have a district that doesn't have a healthy operating reserve, there are some districts that operate basically on a year-to-year basis, right? Most districts, financial advisors want to see at a bare minimum, like poor condition would be like a 30% coverage of your revenue that you take in each year.
Yeah,
So
we do 6
you want
months.
to build on that all the time. Most districts, I'll say probably the whole, if you were doing a black and white, how to do a district, you have your tax rate, it starts off high as the infrastructure and everything, and people come in and pay it. Your rate drops down, but in doing that, you're building up your operating account, so you never have to issue bonds in the future. So I've got a district, actually one that Jacob used to be on down in Houston, that's, they've built their reserves up because they had a director about 10 years ago who said, we never want to issue debt again. We're just going to issue debt to refund our past debt to save money, but we don't want to pay for any large-scale projects. Well, they're selling $12 million in bonds tomorrow night to build a brand new wastewater treatment plant. This is a very large district, but and they're paying all that. They're paying that out of bonds, but half of that project, the other half is being paid out of operating. So they're spending $13 million out of operating reserves that they've saved up over a length of a district because they said we don't need to spend $30 million in bonds. We've got half of it right here that we can pay out of our accounts. And so districts that operate more on a year-to-year basis, or let's say have under $1 million in, I'm going to say like a construction fund or capital and projects fund, when projects like, you do your storm sewer televising and you look at and you say, oh, we've got $400,000 worth of work to do, or the hatch lift station fails, or you want to do smart meters, which is shy of $1 million. If you don't have that in your operating account, the theory is you're either going to be finding money from somewhere else in your budget to pay for one of those projects, or you issue debt to pay for that, depending on the necessity of the project. So districts that don't have large operating reserves will adopt a resolution reserving the right to reimburse. So if they found themselves in a year where they're over budget on just general maintenance items, then they might want to issue debt to be able to get that $1 million plus back into the operating account, which will help. Of course, that affects the district's tax rate, but it gets that money back into the operating account, which helps the district. So.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move, so we're moving on, we are going to defer this, correct?
We're not finished. We're still not done, yeah.
No, for that one, for that.
Yes, for that item. Yes, the next item for consideration, we've talked about some of the park repairs. There's several swings that chains have recently broken. They've been taken down, but there's a Park Pro Tech quote in the packet for $1606.35 to replace those broken swing chains. And then also there were some balance steps that have been ripped off of the base.
Yes.
There's like cones sticking up right now. Andersonville West. There was 2 of those, and that quote is to go out and remove the hard plastic and basically put like a safety cone over the metal base, just as a temporary thing to make sure that no one falls on that and gets hurt.
And who's doing that? Is that
Park
Pro
Pro
Tech?
Tech. Yeah, they've done work.
I was gonna say, we've used them before.
Yes.
Yes. There was the light pole there on Little Elm. M&C provided a bid of $10,950 to do their portion of the work with replacing the base, any wiring that needs to be done and everything to get it ready for PEC to come and replace that light.
How much is it?
$10,950.
God, for just getting it ready?
Yep.
And the pole.
Oh,
It just doesn't
okay.
What does
work.
that compare to the last quote that we got? Have you,
It's pretty similar.
it's the same thing, it hasn't gone up tremendous?
And this isn't something that we have an are we self-insured or we have an insurance policy for this?
No, we do not have the
So
insurance on
it's-
that.
we're
It's
just-
too old.
And it's pending finding
Yeah,
an
okay.
accident report
God,
that
it
could
almost be
be.
worth getting cameras set up.
Just,
Then you would file on the drive.
So,
Right, that's what
I
we've
got
done.
a crazy thought about the lights. So, how much would it be, we have a lot of lights throughout, it's just, it may be stupid, but just give me a second. We have a lot of lights that are redundant in certain areas of this district that have literally 20 feet between them and just useless. Would we be able to grab one of those poles and replace it? And we still have ample amount of light in that area? Is it feasible? Is it worth it? Is it a lot cheaper? I don't know. Just throwing it out there. I get ideas like this all the time. You know,
I didn't know we had any redundant lights.
yeah, look at El Salito. They're right on top
oh,
of each
they
other.
need to be on El Salito.
So,
I mean, we had a big plan.
We'd probably turn to Jacob and say, hey,
Yeah.
can you do a
A night check.
lighting?
Wait a minute, before we do that, hey, before we do that, we did that, Director Zervigon, that was his big project.
Yep.
And so there's a report somewhere out there about that where they measured ambient light and all this other stuff. Because I was treasurer back then, and when we were doing CIP work, we had to have, what is the objective of this project? And he just, he was not clear, and he was saying, well, it's for security purposes. I said, no, we need to put something down here. What are you trying to accomplish with these lights? And we finally came up with to be seen from space. And if you will look at a nighttime map of this section, there is more lights in this area than everybody around us. And it was by design. Now, did they overdo it? I don't know. We've got a report, we paid an engineer to do
if
it.
you look at the city of Cedar Park, they're spaced out pretty consistently evenly. We are all just all over the place with lights, just a thought.
I'll see if we can find the report.
Okay, so, anybody, do you want to say anything about
Sorry.
this?
Continue. You were done?
I mean, I grew up in the country, we had headlights on the moon.
Okay, we're gonna make a motion to be able to get some of these things fixed, okay?
Okay.
Do you want to make that motion? You want me
Well,
to do that?
I'm not done.
There's more that you want to charge me on?
No.
These are recommendations.
Go through the whole.
Go for it.
Yeah, go.
This one doesn't cost you anything. Internally, we're changing basically billing vendors on our side. And it's just a statement, an attestation that would need to be signed by the president, just acknowledging that will be changing on the Infomark side. That customer billing will be migrated and everything like that. But that one doesn't cost anything. There's also been a recommendation, I believe this was driven by a resident seeing one of the irrigation systems going off while it was raining. The system doesn't currently have a rain sensor. To install that sensor, the bid was $995.67.
What about if
And
we
then
put the meter in?
your Google Workspace user licenses is coming up for renewal. When I looked at the admin panel, I noticed that even past board members, their user accounts are still there to retain data. The accounts are suspended. Google also offers a less expensive archive license versus an active license. That's why I have two amounts. If you go with the 7 active and 6 archive licenses, that total will be $732 for the year. If you stay like you are now with 13 active licenses, the annual renewal would be $1,092. There was also a bid again from M&C Electric for the Anderson Millwall West Park to add the receptacles at the front of the pavilion to 4 trees, and then also the memorial in the back. That bid was $8,900.
That's for what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Electrical receptacles
Okay.
at the,
A plug.
in the trees.
Yeah, the plugs back
To do
there.
seasonal lighting. And then also there's just a notice from Land Care. Their contract allows for an annual adjustment or an increase. The consumer price index, he did note, has increased 5.2% since the contract was started in April of '23. They're only asking for a 3% increase on their billings. That's it.
Okay, so what, I'm just gonna say, I think that we need to do the land care separate for their 3% on billing, correct? We don't
That's
wanna-
actually a contractual
Is it?
item
Okay,
that's in their contract. It's not asking approval.
It's
a
telling us.
notice.
Yeah.
It's
but do we need to do that one separate?
It's
Approval.
just a notice.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just notification.
okay.
Yeah.
What do you wanna do? Okay,
Committee or?
well,
So.
we need to approve an amount to get these items done.
Well,
So-
before you right now, obviously the meter upgrade, that's gonna be
So-
tabled. The Park Protect on the repairs at the park.
What was that amount?
That was $1,606.35.
In your packet, it says $1,700, but they included tax, so he gave you the amount without the tax.
So if we did a motion to not exceed $45,000, it's not gonna be that high, but
Can we, 45? I'm sorry, can you continue?
Sure. The light pole replacement for M&C Electric was $10,950.
950.
The rain sensor with Land Care is $995.67.
And is that for what park? Or is that all our parks or just
That's the whole district?
whole district?
No, you have to do it per system.
So,
How many systems do we have?
yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Several.
This says.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I believe the complaint was
Here.
right here,
It's right here.
so it's the Lakeline office system that would be added to.
Okay,
I know I gave the 2 options on the Google Workspace licenses. Do you have a preference? Do you want to save a few $100
I would
and
say
go
so.
with the archival licenses for the past, for the suspended accounts
That's
that
fine.
the past board? Okay. That was $732 for using the archive licenses. And then the final dollar was the M&C Electric for the lighting receptacles at the park, which was $8,900.
which, am I close to 45? That's what I was-
Cole, should we do these individually? So on,
No,
If you're gonna approve them all, you can approve them
yeah,
in
we need to do
single.
it all in a single.
But I would say any ones that you're not gonna, if
So,
you're not gonna.
am I
approve
right?
any of those-
45?
I'm just thinking,
Just stay that
I'm
under.
just thinking on the minutes, it would,
Can you send me the
Well,
total
I'll
to
write
that,
out-
Daryl?
Yeah, I'll write out each one that you all approve in minutes, or,
So,
but.
We're gonna do it all at once, but what is it?
other than obviously the meter upgrade, it's $12,234.02.
That's not including the motion for the park repairs. You didn't include that. That, I have 35 on that. So that doesn't make sense.
so we're doing the receptacles for the park.
But no one answered.
Did I hear that right? I heard 35,000.
8,900
That's,
Huh?
8,900
Ask
for
it.
electrical receptacles?
Yes.
I can't believe that.
Sorry, the
That's unbelievable.
total,
Christmas lights.
It's expensive.
the total
Oh, 23,180.
Cheaper than it was, it was 12 last
meter
year.
upgrade, $23,184.02.
That makes more
Sorry.
sense.
23,000 what?
184
184.
2 pennies.
Oh, two, okay.
And
Can you make a motion for that? Or do you want to ask a question first?
So, on the report, Parks report, should we consider to raise that amount to take care of things, item ones that were required to be repaired to ensure that our park are safe? And so I'm wondering if we should, if there's anything that has been quoted outside of what you quoted.
There are quotes pending for some different items.
Okay, can we then up the amount to ensure that we are covering level 1 safety in our parks?
Or would it be better
That way
just
we
to
wouldn't have
assign
to
a
meet
director
until the
for
next
sport?
month.
Like what we were talking about.
I think we should wait to get the estimates so we can all see and decide.
Let's do this one and then we'll have to do a special meeting because we need to get that done before school starts, so, which we talked about already. So you should have that next week though, right? Okay.
I would hope so.
We'll hope. Let's see what
These park
happens.
repairs that were, I haven't been involved in parks. Are these stuff that have happened since November when we got on the
Oh, no,
board?
these are years that it just hasn't been.
Here's the issue. The issue is that we have a report and we have to act on it, especially if this is, it's a thing that needs to be repaired.
Yes.
A concern about liability.
I understand. All I'm saying is, did this something that happened just since November when the Carol and I came on the board, or are these things that have just?
Yes, since we
Hadn't been
switched
addressed?
committees and stuff, yes.
Okay.
No, I would disagree
I
with
would say
that.
some of both, Chris.
Both,
Yeah.
yeah, because
Okay.
we have past reports that they weren't on the past reports. So obviously between the quarters, things have gotten worse, right? You can look at previous reports and
Well,
see what was there.
everything's gonna get worse.
Right,
so.
so you
Well, the
you
rain
can't say
did
that
that.
all of it was on the last
Okay.
committee.
The rain washed a lot of it out.
I did think they did a good job on cleaning up the underbrush on
Thank you.
Anderson Mill Park. Looks really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
Level 1 stuff, we want to make sure that we, right?
Yeah,
Ensure
let's-
the safety of all children in our community. That's important.
And we do have an ongoing where you have a regular period
We do
of time
this.
that you keep track on this.
it should include.
For the audits,
No, for the park maintenance to make sure.
the safety inspections are done quarterly.
Okay, great.
Okay, you want to make that motion? With parks.
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve, what is it, $45,000
Yes.
towards our parks repair plus the list that was provided, which totals $23,183.02.
Yep.
So,
And these are things that, they're in the budget for this year and we have not spent it, so 45. Can I get a second on that?
No, wait, I'm confused. You said 45 plus this?
No,
No.
including
Oh,
that.
okay, okay.
Including,
Because this doesn't add up to
and
45.
hopefully that'll include what you need.
so motion to authorize an amount not to exceed $45,000 for priority 1 repairs and the $23,184.02 that's listed in the report.
Correct.
Okay.
And we need a second on that.
I'll second.
Okay. Yeah, I think we've discussed it
No,
enough. All in
haven't.
favor?
No,
Wait a
no,
minute.
no, no, no.
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, so I cannot agree to this because I believe that each one should be individual, so it gives a chance for directors to show how they feel on certain items. The M&C Electric, I am not in favor of spending $8,900 for Christmas lights to be plugged in our park. If you broke it out separately, we could vote no for that or yes, however, but I think each one has to be done individually. And I don't believe that we should be, yes, we should repair all the things necessary in the parks, but I don't think that we should I want to see the quotes before I make a financial decision of taxpayer dollars going out. I want to make sure that, we're saying yes to the right thing, so,
If
Okay.
we don't break it out, I cannot go ahead and just sweep the whole thing in one
That's-
motion.
That is your vote.
It is,
Okay.
absolutely. Thank you for letting me discuss it.
Okay, and we did a second? Okay, all in favor? Okay, 4-1. Okay, I think we've done
Are you done,
enough on the
Darrell?
parks.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Information management, have anything?
Yeah, we've talked about it. I had heard that our contractor does all web additions, and I thought, Reese, you do a good job adding simple stuff. We're not asking about changing formats or stuff like that. Can I hear that Infomark can add things to the website without having to go through as a touchstone? Or
Ma'am,
yeah,
there was a meeting held, Darrell and, what was the gentleman's name?
Caleb.
Caleb, yes. Very productive, and I had requested that you give us a report
Yes.
that really covers a great deal of what is possible and ideas to think ahead. Do you have that available?
I do not have the ballpark estimates from Caleb yet.
Well, I mean,
I've requested them twice.
any information that you want to share from that?
I can talk to it. I have not prepared anything for this evening, simply because I don't have the numbers from him. One of the main items was reworking the deed restriction section of the website. Essentially, it would give more of a map feature instead of having to go either to Travis County or Williamson County CAD websites to put in your address, do a search, figure out what community you're actually part of. It would allow kind of a embedded custom Google map where you would basically zoom in, find your house, click on it, and it would take you directly to your restrictions. Again, I don't have a cost estimate of how long it would take. The largest time commitment to that for them would be taking the district map and actually drawing digitally the different subdivisions and the restrictions there. The other main thing that was discussed was just kind of cleaning up the website, make it a little bit more user-friendly, getting some different navigation options added to it. And then the final thing was adding a search feature, kind of like a Google search, if you will. The main limitation to adding that to the way the website is statically built, so it makes it faster and more reliable, but every time you make a change to the website, that static site is rebuilt. Part of the search limitation is it would be able to, your search would search through any text on the website, but say if you had a meeting agenda or an attachment, something embedded on the website, it would not search those individual PDFs. So if you're searching by a keyword, it would only
On the
search like
PDFs.
the blog post, if you will, the announcements. It wouldn't search through the attached documents. So again, I've asked a couple times, just, I don't need formal quotes. I was just asking him for round numbers so that y'all could consider
When
any
we
of those
talked, I don't
options.
think we were talking about, we were just talking about what are possibilities,
Correct.
and then ideas of what we might think would be high on the list that we might like, but then when we would finally get cost attached to those ideas that we were that he was presenting to us, then we would begin to see what is feasible for us to do, or what's most important for us to do.
Yes, ma'am.
I thought the conversation was very profitable, and so I appreciate you getting that together. And,
This is under the, committee report? Is that what it's?
Actually, that's where it winds up over here, but Darrell
what we're
was
on
the
right
one,
Yes.
Darrell was the one who was really spearheading this meeting, and So he was the one who was collecting the information, I guess.
So a question I have is, I know we discussed it earlier in January, February, when new board members came on. Are we happy with Touchstone keeping that business since they are? We discussed it that they were in Houston. We were going to possibly look for somebody closer in town. If we're happy with their service, then we're happy with their service. But it's something that did come up in the past to touch base on. Eric just said that he asked for quotes twice already and nothing has come through. So just wondering if everybody's happy with.
That's a fair question. I mean, I'm just wondering, do they, if we were to say get somebody new, do they take their website with them and that's it? Is it our website or is it their website?
It's ours.
I would imagine that there would be some type of way for them to provide us kind of a data file, if you will, from the current site. Now, what the new vendor would be able to do with that would be the question, and honestly, the migration cost.
Are you asking to put this on the agenda next time?
Yeah, let's put, please.
Okay, let's keep
I'd like
going.
to.
It's not on the
This
agenda
way,
tonight.
the committee can kind of do some research.
Yes.
If they're happy with it,
Okay.
then they're happy with it. If not,
What do you-
all
We're
those
not-
questions answered.
What do you want me to put on the agenda, what language? Just-
It's your idea.
I think you're asking the committee to look to see if there are other vendors available, okay?
Or if
Right.
you're happy and why you're happy.
And then
Right.
explore what that other vendors might be.
How about explore avenues to improve the website?
There you go.
Just like that.
To transition over to new.
We can start a search.
Right.
Okay, waste management, you have anything to talk about? Okay, open records committee?
We do not have a report this month.
Okay, security, budget, we've already all done
Open
those.
Records Committee.
I asked, you don't have anything,
We
correct?
do not have a report.
Budget committee.
Explain the reason why we don't have the report?
I apologize to you. I think the transition to getting the information is your staff is.
Yeah, Tammy's out on medical leave, and we were expecting her back, but she's going to need more time, so she's kind of out for the foreseeable future. So with that, I've had some other people in my office kind of come together to help me out with the PIRs, and so I've been training them, helping, kind of teaching them what they need to do, how they need to handle it, and so we've been kind of on that process. So our priority is to keep up and respond to any PIRs that we do receive first and foremost. We do have the updated list. It's been being tracked, or I should say, Carissa in our Houston office is helping out and putting information when we get it. I looked at it 2 days ago, but we had 2 requests that we fulfilled over the past 2 or 3 days, and I just haven't gotten a report from her since then. So I can send it after the meeting to you all.
Thank
I do
you.
want to clarify, since you're the person that's recording this, you are recording the time that you, your staff, and the contractor that's producing that information
Yes.
to your office,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes, so we ask anytime let's hypothetically say Joe Schmo sends us a PIR for the bookkeeper's report or, invoices, whatever it might be from last year. So we send out an email to the bookkeeper asking for those records if they're not on the website or readily available. And then we ask them, please also submit how much time you spent on this request. And then we put in our time and their time. And we have it broken out on this thing where it says, bookkeeper, attorney, engineer, stuff like that. So you're able to see how much time was spent by each contractor.
And how much it's costing the district?
Yeah, the other spreadsheet that we've been doing keeps up with that, yes.
Okay,
I apologize.
go ahead.
You skipped over, under the general manager, review and discuss contract.
We're going to defer that, so we can go ahead and just say that. We discussed it earlier today. It's not totally ready, so we are going to ask to defer that to next month. There's some things that are missing on it, so
The budget
it needs to be revised.
I would like some input to that.
Do you,
Okay.
We can
That's good.
do some input if you want.
yeah,
Budget committee.
if you want to put in some input into it, go for it.
No, I'll wait. I had spent a good bit of time, because, well, let me just say this, when I was new to the board, we did request and had a conference with Infomart and went over the contract that we were operating under. And so I had that in hand to look at the new one. And so it caused me to have some questions.
Do you want to ask those questions?
No, if we are postponed, that's fine, because evidently y'all had some discussions I'm not aware of. So that's fine, let's just do that, and we'll wait till the next time.
And why don't y'all just, if you have questions, because everybody has it, and
Yes.
y'all can review it, I would say, and then the reason I didn't send it to you all in one email is so you didn't reply all and create, a walking form. But since all of you do have it, if you want to look at it, and if you have any questions, email Daryl and myself, and we'll be happy to respond to you.
Okay.
When did you send that? Was it last meeting?
No, last meeting it was put on the Google Drive.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we're referring to, right? And there are gonna be some changes to it, I hear, because there's
Clarifications.
There's just some clarification, not necessarily
changes to the contract.
just clarification.
No, just making sure that that everybody understands a little bit better, it's clearer, so that we all,
Everybody.
yes. Okay, old business, we don't have any.
I want to make this, about the budget committee meeting. This always happens. The counties delay, for whatever reason, coming out with the amended, corrected, reduced county assessed values. And we end up at the last minute, doing a whole lot of important work because they've taken so long getting it. It's going to happen again. And we need to get as much work done in August. The main problem is it's just the tax rate. We don't have any bond debt anymore, so that's not a separate rate. So it's all operating that what we're going to be voting on. But I think that the board should consider that if you have a particular goal of what you want as far as the tax rate is concerned, I mean, do you want taxes stay the same, go up a little, down a little, what you want? I think it's something that you should think about and let the budget committee know so we can get a feel for, what you would support.
I think it's appropriate to say that as we preliminarily looked at the draft budget that's been provided to us, that we're going to look at it first, like saying the tax is the same.
Right, exactly.
And just start from that to look at our new budget, the new year budget, based upon exactly what we have right now. And then when we finally get that new tax, or whatever it is, then we can make adjustments, but I don't think we can wait until we get
No,
that.
that's what I'm trying to
Yeah, but I'm
say.
saying the draft budget that was provided to us from Artesia's is based on that premise. As though the tax is going to be the same.
And I'd like the board members and the public also, that if you can think of something that because we're going to put this up on the draft, up on the Google Drive, we want any input that we can get. This month we've had a significant amount of rain. I've talked to several people. They've told me they've turned off their irrigation systems. In the past, when that happened, July, August, September are our big months to sell water. And we've had so much rain that we've had certain amounts of water that's not going to be sold, and it can be significant.
But we don't make money on water, do we?
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes, sir, sure we do.
How much do we, I thought it was just a pass-through.
Well, no, it's not. We're a nonprofit, but we have expenses in addition to what I call cost of goods sold, what we buy our water from the city of Cedar Park. But we're going to see probably, each month, 30% of our annual net revenue comes from water sales. It's from July.
30%?
Yeah, from July, August, and September.
30%.
So do you want to put this on the agenda next month?
Yeah, I want to put it on
I don't think so.
the agenda.
That's a question for the accountant.
Cole, can you put that on the agenda next month? Just a discussion about water.
Discussion
Yeah, we need to stay focused.
about water rates.
Yes,
Water rates and revenue.
correct. Thank you.
do you want to authorize your operator to put some numbers together, or?
Please.
I think it'd be a good idea. I'd hate to have a surprise.
So
Yes, please.
you wanted input from the public, where can the public, it's just email it to you?
Yeah, well, email it to the whatever.
committee?
Yeah, the committee.
Okay.
And remind me who's on the budget committee?
Myself.
Carol and Chris.
mine, and I.
Okay, so what I'll do, just in light of your discussion, is I'll send an email out to your financial advisor, Jacob, and the 2 committee members. That way, you all can get on the same page and schedule a time sooner rather than later, because as tax rate season progresses, August, September, early October, financial advisors are slammed with tax rate season, so I would prefer you all to be able to kind of talk with people and get some meetings scheduled
Yes.
so you can be ahead of the curve.
Carol had a good idea. We should have, I think, what it was last year, what's 10% increase, what's 10% decrease, and come up with various
Put
ones.
it on the budget, put it on the,
Well, so just remember too, in terms of your operations or maintenance tax, you're limited by how much you can increase it.
Yes.
Right, that's why it's so important.
So you're very limited to how much that rate could go. And if values come in and they're exponentially higher than they were last year, no matter what, you'll have to drop the rate. Of course, your revenue could go up a little bit because of the values and the rate that you have, but that's why values are so important.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but every year we always go to the maximum, so we can always go down, but we can't go up. So don't we always max it out, so to where we don't have to have a bond, we always max it out and then we reduce it if we have to? Isn't that primary, for the last 7 years that I've been involved, that's what it sounded like the MUD
put
district
it on
does?
the agenda, or
Yeah.
off the agenda.
I want to
Sorry.
know actually what's going on.
We can talk now.
Well,
No,
I'm
it's
just
not
saying,
Or it's on the next,
Thank
on the
you.
meeting, we'll do it next month.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank
But I think
you.
the public
I'm
deserves
trying
to know
really
as
hard to
well.
stay what's on the agenda. Okay, old business, we don't have any attorney's report.
I don't have anything, but I uploaded into the Google Drive, which I know you don't have access to now, but our Coast Roads legislative memo. So those are all the bills that we've been tracking that affect special purpose districts. I'll give you a quick highlight. Paul Betancourt's office was, probably much to the chagrin of many, was very kind to MUDs in terms of striking a lot of bills down that were the MUD industry considered were onerous. So the big bill that passed that really affects districts is that typically, and it affects you all this past month with my tardiness with the agenda, but typically agendas have to be posted. The rule is 72 hours in advance of a meeting, so I can post on a weekend. Now, there's a bill that passes, says it has to be posted 3 days in advance of the meeting, 3 business days in advance of the meeting.
business days, that was the big thing.
Yes,
Yeah, so you guys are okay. I mean, we would still have to post by Friday, which is what we've been traditionally doing anyway, but for MUDs that meet on Monday or Tuesday, we post well in advance of that. There was a bill about agenda specificity and reasons that districts can and cannot go into executive session. That was vetoed by Governor Abbott during the veto session, so that is done. And that's really all that kind of affects mature districts like this one. So,
When you said about agenda specificity, sorry. Is there some training or some guidelines as to what that means?
in the bill, it kind of,
Okay. all right.
in the bill there were, but the bill is vetoed. I'm sure it'll come back up next session. So, I think most people are, I wouldn't say your agenda would be fine for what the point is. The specificity, sorry, I'm contagious. Kind of relates to, when you have, say, stuff like take action as needed. That probably could be argued as, that's too broad, we need to know specifically, the bill was stated, so the general public would be able to look at an agenda item and reasonably know what was going to be discussed at the meeting. So nothing would get pulled out kind of as a surprise or a as-needed type of discussion.
Is there anything in the special session that affects us?
There's limited items that can be filed in special session. Obviously, taxes is one of them, property taxes is one, so we're monitoring property taxes related to MUDs. Example would be how much a MUD can raise its taxes or how to calculate your tax rate moving forward. Chances are probably something will pass on that front. That's kind of a big push right now.
You mean, Just MUDs or all? Okay.
All
Okay.
taxing entities. And then there's another bill that is filed, it failed during, well, it didn't advance in regular session, hasn't advanced in the past few years, but it is going to limit, typically districts have an election, you can have a bond election in November or May. There's a bill that's out there that wants to basically eliminate the May bond election, and it requires a supermajority of voters to pass it. So that's not something that we're in favor of.
Do you know if Swartner's still trying to get MUDs to pay for roads?
Trying, not succeeding.
Okay. I'm just interested because if you can imagine, that would be horrible. I know. Okay.
Oh, I have a question on the agenda. So is it an official posting like to the building, or can it be posted to
Yes,
a
right.
website or something?
It can be posted to the website
Okay.
like we do it. You all have always historically posted in the district and online.
Okay, so like, let's
So I
say-
would just continue down that path.
Okay, so like, let's say like if I was unable to post it over the weekend, if it was okay when Caleb posted it, that would have been sufficient?
Yes,
Okay.
because the general consensus is that if it's posted on a website, that is available for the general public
Okay.
to see and to review. And so even if it gets posted in the district later, the argument and kind of in conversations we've had with other districts and attorneys with the AG's office has been, as long as it's posted on the website during the time frame, that is an opportunity for everyone to have access to it. So, yeah.
With that said, would there be any argument for districts, and not specifically this, but all that we manage, to discontinue the posting within the district and only doing it online? Just curious.
I think
Some do.
I wouldn't be for that, I'll just tell you
Oftentimes-
That'd
that.
be up to the board, I would.
Yeah,
imagine.
that's right.
Sure.
Absolutely.
But you're just saying in general.
Yeah.
I like still posting it on the building.
Oftentimes, there's items that are required to be posted in the district, like if you have any type of elections or voting type matters. So if you were to just go on the website, which again, I don't, most of my districts still post in the district, as well as online. But if you were to go down the path of just doing online and then say you had an election and you forgot to post in the district, that would be not good.
Cole, when does this take effect?
The 72-hour to 3-day, September 1st. Yeah. That's in our-
Stephanie,
But we're doing it already, so.
If you can't post it, I'm more than happy to print it and post it.
Okay, no, I would just.
If nobody can.
Thank you.
I think we have other board
Okay.
members here.
Posting it online will keep us from having
Right,
and
right.
forgetting to have done it outside and changed the meeting date and everything, so, okay.
Okay, anything else on the attorney's report?
No, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Cole. Okay, 13, convene an executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, to discuss matters only relating to pending and completed litigation, personal matters, real estate transactions, or security if necessary. The time is 7:03, and I am going to ask everybody to please exit the building unless you are a board member.
What are we going into executive session for? Doesn't it have to be posted on the agenda exactly what we're going?
It has to be it has to be an item that's on the agenda.
Right, what item on the agenda are we discussing then?
Well, it's the list. It's the list. I thought it was just posting this list.
If it's personnel matters, litigation, or real estate.
But it has to be on the
You don't
agenda.
have to name specifically.
That was one, that's one.
It's a
That
committee.
was one of the bills that
It's,
failed.
it's a committee, it's
A committee matter
Yes.
wouldn't it have to be a specific item, not just a general committee?
It's one item only.
It has to be on the agenda. You're
I'm sorry?
very broad.
Community matter?
Committee.
Committee
Right,
matter.
it's so
Okay.
broad though. Come on, it's broad. That's just stretching.
Well, that's why we have
That's
attorney-client privilege
Well, that's why
protection
we're
in this
getting a-
country, and that's why we need to do that.
Yeah, well, we're gonna get.
Okay, excuse me,
I can't speak.
order.
What is the order?
Cole is looking.
What is
Cole is
why are you calling order?
Because I'm not gonna have you guys bicker at each other, that's why.
Well, I'm not bickering, I'm just, trying to have a conversation with a man that won't look at me. Any reason for me to stick around?
No, you can go. Thank you for being here.
Unless you want to take my motorcycle out for
Have fun with your
You
family.
don't want me taking your motorcycle out for spin? Not allowed to do that.
Might not come back.
Might not come back one of these.
Come back with a road rash.
Do you want to talk to Cole?
Does she still need to eat a sandwich?
Do I still need to get a sandwich?
Yeah.
I think you can. I mean, 551 of the government code says you can consult with an attorney in a closed meeting.
That's what we're trying to
Litigation,
do.
contemplated litigation, settlement offer, personnel, real property. You know, the bill that had the language about it having to be specific to the agenda is the bill that was vetoed.
So is it litigation that we're going into executive session?
I don't know.
Beth?
Yes.
It's
That
litigation.
is correct, yes.
Litigation.
That's what I would assume, since we're in litigation and things are attorney-client privilege, you wouldn't post something like that on the agenda. Because it could affect litigation.
Oh, may I
So-
ask, Cole, so I understand you're reading it, that it did not pass, that it had to be any more explicit than this legal statement here.
Yeah, no, the bill that did not pass that was vetoed, either way, that wouldn't be in effect right now. So let's.
Okay, so this is okay, we can go into closed session.
I would make an argument that if you're going into closed session to discuss litigation on an update that has happened in between meetings, you can go into executive session to do that.
Okay, that's what they're claiming, litigation, so.
Okay. The time is now 7:07.
Yeah, I'm looking at subchapter E about identifying the section in the code which a closed meeting is held.
Except one day is trying to get as many miles as possible. Double check.
Yes.
Okay, we're back.
Yes, you're good.
Thing to discuss. I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.